So, Paddington, this little bird's furry face has been showing up on our bookshelves, gift shops, TVs and DVDs for years since the late 1950s, all thanks to the author Michael Bond. His stories about this little critter are filled with heartwarming and feel-good moments. Oh, and Paddington causing havoc from time to time, like getting a couple of toothbrushes covered by his own earwax, drinking a whole bottle of mouthwash, and some toilet water before flooding the entire bathroom. I'm just saying. Anyway, the franchise doesn't stop in London though. He's been known in many countries. His books has been translated into 30 languages and sold over 30 million worldwide, and it's still going strong. And now, after all those years, Paddington's got his movie set out. One might say that it's about time. However, with all those credentials belonging to a world-famous franchise that started from a book, TV show, toy, or game, does it fall into the same trap of having a film like Twilight and The Last Airbender ruining the entire thing? Well, let's grab a ticket and ride the ride. Note to self, find someone to make your theme song. Oh, and fire a certain red ninja. It's been a really long time since I read one of his books or watched one of his shows, and for as long as I can remember, it started with the little guy hanging out at Paddington Station like a lost cat placed inside an empty box, waiting to be taken home. Aww. Not sure if the books or cartoons covered this at the very beginning. I wonder if it would be a good idea for me to have a refresher before checking this out. Nah, I'll check it out later. Coming from this film, Paddington does have a backstory about how he became lost in the train station that shares the same name after traveling all the way from darkest Peru. But don't make me ruin that for you. Before I forget, some people complained about the age rating of this film, being a PG instead of U. Well, there's a great amount of slapstick in the story, much like they have in the books if memory serves correctly. There was also a warning mentioning some sexual references. But in my opinion, after watching the film, they turned out to be harmless and only added to the comedy. I mean, how many of you have seen a cat girl dressed in a two-piece bikini in a Tom and Jerry's cartoon, or heard Pinocchio sarcastically saying he was wearing ladies' underwear? Again, just saying. And also, in almost every kids' film, you're bound to have villains. And in this case, we got a fanatical taxidermist, played by Nicole Kidman, waiting to take that bear and add him to her collection. But, and by law of endings for kids' films, the film would either change their ways or get the comeuppance. It's just a question of how it gets done. With a huge amount of children watching funny cartoons like SpongeBob SquarePants and films like How to Train Your Dragon all the time, you're bound to have films like this being at this age rating. So, I don't mind this. Besides, it's not like the kids would cause all that much chaos like Paddington did. Or will they? Dun dun dun! Everyone who worked on this did a brilliant job. The design and animation for Paddington was done brilliantly in a realistic way. Some people may complain that stop animation wasn't used like in the old days, but I for one think we can keep on with the changes here and there. Then again, I would like to see more of those stop animation films in the coming future. The personality Paddington has can get everyone loving him. The voice acting Ben Whishaw did for him was great too. The sound really suited him as it did for his personality. He's polite, noble, caring, and would help anyone in need. But then when it comes to courteousness, there are some things that he lacked the knowledge of, which makes him pretty naive, but still funny. He does know that even though it's good manners to do one thing in Peru, it's not always good to do that in London. Like when someone says they need to wash their faces, it's not a good idea to lick them. But that's okay though, because, as you all know by now, he has a habit for comedic antics. Maybe disastrous for people who put up with him, but for the audience pure gold. Same goes for the actors and actresses doing their part, and I got a kick out of taking in the personalities of each Brown family member. You got Mr. Brown, played by Hugh Bonneville. He's an overprotective father and husband who does risk analyzing. 3 guesses of what percentage he'd come up with for having an accident-prone bear in the house. Over 9,000's overdoing it. There's Mrs. Brown, played by Sally Hawkins. She's an open-minded and good-hearted wife and mother who was the first person who wanted to take him in. And they got 2 kids, starred by Madeline Harris and Samuel Joslin, respectively. One suffering a condition called embarrassment, and the other had to play with safety toys after one rocket launching moment that cost him an arm and a leg. Well, not literally. Put those 4 on the bed together, and what do you get? Well, don't look at me, I'm not telling you. And, sorry if I got any names wrong. There is one negative thing I want to point out, however. I felt that the film was running a bit short and a number of scenes ended too quickly. But considering that this is a kids' film, they normally run for under 2 hours. Probably because of the budget, but that's just my guess. But still, who would want to watch a film for 5 hours straight? Despite that, I loved the plot and twist because they kept it interesting all the way through. It got me laughing, it got me feeling, it got me entertained. I also loved the moral as well. No matter who that person or animal may be, if they have a great bond with you, relative or not, you'll be like a family. So, here's to having another great addition to a great franchise, and for all the fun times ahead when the DVD comes out. Here's to you, Mr. Bond, for making such wonderful stories. And finally, here's to you, Paddington, everyone's childhood friend. You may cause a mess here and there, but you have brought love and joy to all our hearts over the years and for many years to come. I'm Brian Random. Thanks for checking out.
Boom, boom, boom.